Hi there, welcome to Power of God Ministries International. Power of God Ministries International introduced to you the grand opening of our 24-hour state-of-the-art call center, just to serve you better. We offer 24 hours international online and offline services, such as calling, texting, making appointments, and making donations. You can reach us via WhatsApp, Facebook, and Instagram. Please remember to subscribe to our PGMI TV YouTube channel for weekly uploads and trending videos.
This is a powerful mystery talk which we have Chief PTAHANKA with us and also the mighty man of God Bishop. Chief PTAHANKA, can you just introduce yourself?
My name is Chief PTAHANKA and I'm the chief of the Arawaks and the Tainers of Jamaica.
Thank you very much, Chief. Can you also, Bishop, identify yourself?
Bishop Farquharson here, blessings.
So today we want to talk about the mystery of the ages, because there's many things in the unseen eyes that need to be seen, and Jamaica really want to know what is going on in the mystery of God, because a lot of us, we're talking about the spiritual realm, we're talking about the Holy Ghost, we're talking about the Holy Spirit, but no one continue to preach about the mystery of God, where that is the before time begun, before a tree was grown upon the earth, before water, before dust, before a man started to walk the earth. What used to happen? Where the mystery of God lies? Where is the powerful awesomeness of God? Where is His presence? So today, as we step towards His glory, we step towards His power, we want to introduce to you, as I said before, the Chief PTAHANKA, one of the most powerfulest men that I ever meet in history. This man has so much mystery and so much greatness in him that we want some of the greatness to release upon the earth, because all we have in us, we need to pass it on to others, so the generation continue to grow from strength to strength. And Bishop also have some powerful thing in him also. So we want some of these greatness out of these men to pass on to our generation, the youngster coming up, that you can be a mighty bishop, also a mighty chief, a mighty prophet, and the world can be a better world because we pass on the greatness and the knowledge that we have to others. So Chief PTAHANKA, we know you know a lot about the Arawak, and you have been to many states, many countries, and you have been in the woods for years and decades. You know a lot of secrets of the ages. Tell us, how do the Arawak come in place?
Well, in order to understand or overstand the Arawaks, we have to go all the way back to Mother Africa, see?
Yes.
And this would take us even before South America break away from Africa. See, what happens is, in Africa we had what we call Adam and Eve. Actually, if you get back to the holy tablets and read it, it's only 49,000 years ago.
Yes.
And many people don't know that people are living in the Western world, even when the Israelite issue was taking place in the eastern part of the planet. There were people living here for millions of years. Our ancestors traveled to the Persian Gulf. And when they came to the Persian Gulf, they set up 14 kingdoms, starting with Tilmun, Salam, Lumeria, Urupak, Ayasin, Kuta, and 14 kingdoms before they walked into America.
Yes.
So the first place they walked really is in America. When they came in America, they were called Nubuns. See, they were called Kushite first, but when they came in America as a new place, they're called Nubun.
Yes.
So if you take a look in America today, you'll see the number of pyramids that is constructed in La Venta. Obviously, the European banned it from leaving La Venta in the 1800s because he don't want people to realize that it was black people who left Africa and occupied America.
Which Africa was Ethiopia.
Well, today they call it Ethiopia, but the original family name is really Kush.
Kush.
This is why if you go to the Jehovah's Witness book called Race of Mankind, they say black race came through Kush, but not due to curse on Canaan whose descendants were white. So the original family name is Kush. But sometime in the time of the Imperial Majesty, I think they changed it to Ethiopia. But coming into America, they set up all these pyramids in America, and one tribe that was called the Nabun stayed in America while another tribe came to the Caribbean.
Yes.
See, and they didn't sail. They walked to the Caribbean as they walked from Africa into America. So when they came here and beginning to set up the colonies now, they named themselves Arawak, mean to be perceptive. This is how the Arawaks came about here.
So the Arawak was here before Christopher Columbus.
Oh, definitely. If you look, well, Christopher Columbus log itself give a description of the people to whom he encountered. And he said, their noses were so big he could see up in their nostrils.
Yes.
So this, he wasn't referring to Indians. The
Yes.
characteristics there is not referring to Indians. He was talking about dark-skinned, woollier people. And mark you, when Columbus said brown-skinned people now, we don't want to be colorblind like most Jamaicans, thinking that when a person is light-skinned, it's brown. Brown is like chocolate.
Yes.
So Columbus would be referring to people that was looking like chocolate color, not pale skin.
Yes.
Okay, so that is how the Arawaks really established themselves on the island, long before Columbus came here. As a matter of fact, the story of Columbus is incorrect. Because if you listen to the story about Columbus trying to find India and get lost in the West, there was a navigator prior to Columbus in the 1400s called Marco Polo. And Marco Polo had a pathway from Spain to India already. So there was no need for a man to say he's trying to find India and end up in the Western world.
Yes.
So all of this was a hoax, you know, and it goes on, but it's a longer story because it also has a man called Pietro el Negro involved, because you know the black people, the North African conquered Spain 710 AD and then conquer France 712.
Yes.
And they built up Spain and introduced electric light, marble walls, marble floor, asphalt floor, cotton silk and all of that in Spain. So they were considered to be indigenous to Spain. So this man, Pietro el Negro now, was the one that brought Columbus to Isabella and introduced Columbus to Isabella. So that's how the story all goes. So it's not as the people read or writing. But the story about Columbus is untrue. There's a whole lot of things different about the story.
Yes, but Bishop, what we are saying now, because we used to, in our days, we used to have the Arawak and our exercise book in those days. We still have them now, and the money, we have the money, the $100 bill, the $200 bill. But how can the Arawak generation that come up, the greater grandchildren, how can they expose themselves to know the true origin and where they come from? How can they present themselves to society? Because many Arawaks right now, they're living in the woods, in the deserts, they're in the wild trying to make a life. But because society seems like they don't want to accept the Arawaks and whatever they come with. So how can the Arawak present themselves, which is the greater grandchildren that growing up in this time?
Fascinating question. The reality is, I always admire the Arawaks, and I will continue to look on our quota farm, our money. You will see the Arawaks standing in their dress code, dressing like Africans, Ghanaians, etc., etc. But the reality is the truth has been hidden from us. They have blackmailed us, and the white supremacy has totally trying to erase our memory. So I think we, as an Arawak, African, as they would call us, black nation, we need to do similar to what the Maroon does. And that's one of the reasons why I appreciate the Maroon culture. They stand up for what they believe in. They fight for what they believe in. They fight for civilization. And until today, they still hold their tradition. So like the Maroons, we as the Arawak race, because our generation, our children hardly knows anything. Majority of the history is taken from us. So a lot of our real ancestors are hidden from us. So I would encourage schools, politicians, churches to let us go back to our foundation, our roots and history. Start to educate our young one about the Maroons more, Arawaks more, and even our race, so we can be proud of who we are.
Well, we want to take a next step to the Maroons, because as we understand now that the Maroons really want to get their own independence. They want to show the government that, look, we have our own laws and stipulations that we have to abide by. We want our own money, because I believe that Maroons have their money now down there. But what I want to talk about, Chief, can the Maroon really get their independence? How can they see themselves at this time?
No, I don't think the Maroon can have any independence unless they go to the United Nations. Because remember, can have any independence unless they go to the United Nations. Because remember, the only independence that the Maroon think they have is just a treaty.
Yes.
Now, mark you, I've been down there and I try to speak to them. I try to show them that the treaty is not legit. It's a fake document. And our ancestors did not sign that treaty. And one of the proof is this, is that the treaty was signed in Trelawney town. And there was no Trelawney, a town around in 1738. That is to show you. Another thing is to look at is that the war was between what they call the Maroons and the Arawaks and the Europeans. Now, the Europeans surrender, so they becomes the victim. So why would the victim allow to draft up a treaty full of compliances when it's supposed to be the victor that would be the one obliged to set up a treaty? So all of that was orchestrated from the very beginning. But look at this way. The only way that a person can have their independence in Jamaica is if they're indigenous.
That's true.
Okay? And you must also prove that you're indigenous. Mark you, 2005, we were called the Maku Maroons. Everybody knows as the first of the people living on the island.
This was the Maku Maroons.
The Maku Maroons. And we were known as the first one. Our ancestors know that they've been here first, but they could not prove that they were been here first. But when we came along, we aimed to get a busload to the United Nations in 2005. And in going to the United Nations, we addressed the United Nations on these issues and our concern. And at the very end of that meeting, there were two requisitions were made, is that we have to submit a synopsis of our history and our language. These two things, these two criteria were made 2005.
Yes.
Then we sent a letter to Miss Portia Simpson Miller 2007. She was the Prime Minister at the time. We sent a letter, we sent a synopsis, and we sent our language. It's very unfortunate that Miss Portia Simpson Miller did not inform the country because she maybe didn't want the Maroons to hear that one set of Maroons went and claimed their sovereignty and their autonomy. So she hid it from the country. She chose to be evasive. Then what is funny is that she went out 2008 after meeting the indigenous people 2007, and she put out a false documentary, a cooked up, fried up story. Comes out on Heroes Day with a light-skinned girl pretending to be a Taino, and she was telling all this story about Columbus came here and see the Tainos and all this, which is not true. I went down there to inform the Maroons about this meeting at the United Nations because I was trying to get them to recognize that the only stability that you can have and foundation in the country is indigenous. And we have already done it, so we should come under one banner. All right, I was refused, Mr. Petty refused to accept. So in refusal, this is the outcome of it right now.
Yes.
I don't think that they can have an independence unless they can prove that they are indigenous.
But is it Jamaica independent at this time? Because we still answer to the Queen. We still have to, if we go to court now, we still have to salute the Queen, and God only save the Queen in court, but He don't save others and those stuff. So is that Jamaica independent?
Yeah, but those are the people under the jurisdiction of the state. You see, indigenous people, if an indigenous person enter the court and they say to stand up, the indigenous person will sit. So he doesn't have to comply to those laws. But the people under the jurisdiction of the state have to comply to those laws. Okay, now Jamaica itself cannot be independent, and one of the funniest things is to have a day called Independence. That day, I don't know what day means, because what I assume from all of this is that when the Englishman left Jamaica and go to England, they put them to sit down in their chairs. So they consider that a form of independence.
Yes.
But you cannot be independent with the head of state over you and the governor general. That is not independence at all. And then another thing too, to look, the tampon come from somebody else's country, the toilet tissue come, the toothpaste, the toothbrush, the houseware, the kitchenware, hammer for driving nails, all of this are coming from another person's country. How are you claiming independence?
So you said then we are semi-independent, but not independent.
I think we're a million miles away from it.
I get that point. But when yes.
If you don't industrialize your nation to produce things. Now, this is why I feel like Mr. Oldest could be against the wall with what's taking place in a compound town because of the situation. If you look at it from another angle, Jamaica can be considered one of the most dangerous countries in the world simply because it don't make any provision of its own. Now, the people who are giving you these provisions can come up tomorrow and say, go and harass or terrorize prophet. Go down a compound town and terrorize the Maroons, and the government say, well, they're peaceful, they're not a problem to our society. And they say, oh, you want your shelf empty by tomorrow? And then his back is against the wall.
Yes.
It's easy to put a country back against the wall that way because you're not making any provisions for yourself.
How can we access more power from God? How can we connect to the divine? We want to speak about the divine. The divine is the most powerful words that I have discovered. Tell me something about the divine.
Well, the first thing is, when we're talking about the divine, it's not a person that we can see. This is one of the reasons why I said, when we say that the Most High come down as a human, it's blasphemous.
Blasphemous.
Because for one, when we read the holy tablets that the Most High sent down in the culture, he doesn't go anywhere. He's got millions and millions of servants across the whole entire universe carrying out his work. There's a group of beings that he created called Elohims. There are 24 masters in Revelation. They are considered the 24 elders. And they are the beings that come down and bring the scripture to earth. You see, once we have a full knowledge of the Most High in his essence, it's how we can gain divine wisdom from his wisdom. But if you don't have the right knowledge of the Most High, you'll be looking in the wrong place. Now look at this good. The Most High came down and wrestled with Jacob and could not beat Jacob. Now this is strange because look at this. The Most High, look in the Bible. In the Bible they say God came down and wrestled with Jacob. We're talking about the divine now. Now would the divine leave his presence to come down to wrestle with Jacob?
And Jacob beat him up.
And he could not beat Jacob?
Jacob kicked him back.
That's impossible.
The divine don't go anywhere. Look at it. The queen will not come down to the ground to speak to anyone. The president of America will not come down and speak to anyone. The prime minister not coming down to the ground to speak to you. But you would expect the creator that runs this whole big universe to come down and talk to you? It just don't make any sense. Look here. The Most High, the divine, put laws on earth in state of governance.
Yes.
Your body run off law and order. Trees work off law and order. Everything works off law and order. Now there's one thing. The Most High will not go against his own order.
Never.
So if he comes down as a human, he's subjugated to his own law. Look at this good, He's subjugating himself to a 2020 vision, first of all.
Yes.
Which means that hydrogen being the smallest particle that he created, can no longer see hydrogen particle. Because you can't see hydrogen particle with your naked eyes.
Yes.
No, the next thing is that he's subjugated to get tired. He's got to go to bed and sleep on a mattress. Him don't even know who make it.
Yes.
He's going to get up in the morning and then he's going to have bad breath and he's got to brush his teeth like all humans.
Yes.
These are laws that the Most High put on earth and he cannot go against his own law. No. Here's the point now. In the Holy Tablet, this is what the Most High said. He said he cannot speak directly to a human because he will destroy the human eardrum.
That's true.
Because he cannot be any lesser than he is. Look, when a person said the Most High can do everything, take back that statement. The Most High did not tell a human to say that. There are many things the Most High cannot do. Okay? First of all, he can't get surprised.
No.
Right? And he can't create anything greater than himself.
No.
Right? And he can't become lesser than who he is.
And he cannot do one coke out of full basket.
No.
So when Jesus appeared and said, Lord, thank you for food. The food come for the multitude to eat and live. Because our great divine Father cannot release nothing small.
That is so
everything
true.
Is mighty.
That is true. But what is funny though is that these people who are saying Jesus is God, I think they have a real serious mental problem, Because look at this. Listen, look at the Lord's
most
Prayer.
of them, because they grew up in the country, they climb mango trees. Sometimes a mango drop and hit them in the head, so the head can come.
So what they do? Knock out their intelligence.
They knock out the intelligence.
Look here. The Lord's Prayer in Matthew 6:9.
Yes.
We can say, can't we? Our Father,
which art in heaven.
Art in heaven. Now let's look at this. Who was the person that was speaking? Jesus was speaking, as they call it.
Yeah.
No. Who was he saying to pray to?
Our Father.
Father.
But he said, Abana elevi fi samawati. He said, Abana, which is my father, your father, his father, and everybody's father.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when did he become the father? Because it said God the Father and God is the Son. Now you know something? There is no culture or religion around the world teaches that a father is his son. A father cannot be his son.
No.
Anytime a religion started to teach that the Father become the Son, realize that know that they're manipulated.
Of course.
And their head start to go and come.
No, their head is not screwed. Their head is twist up. Them head is jumbled up and twist up. And there is no form of intelligence to untangle it either. It is just as easy.
Even these men who drink Jerry and Neville, they themselves would pick up that Jesus could not be God. So they're not junk.
You are joking, man.
And when you look back in the Bible, the Bible said God himself, which is Jesus, when he could not get liquor to drink, he turned water into wine because he really wanted to stay drunk. So you show you that they give us a drunkard.
You have to remember that he was also providing it for other people to drink as
Yes.
well. And that wine you're talking about, it was his wedding, you know. A lot of people
His
don't even know
wedding.
it was his wedding, you know.
So he was married
He
to-
was married to Mary Magdalene
Mary
at age
Magdalene.
27.
a pretty
And when-
woman.
Yes, man. The one that he was using, use her ear to wipe his foot.
Wow.
And all right, listen to this. He has Zubir, Iglal, and Sene, and Bar Jesus, which is 4 children.
Yes.
Now, what we don't realizing too is that Bar Jesus in the book of Acts 8, where they say Bar in Aramaic Hebrew means son of. Because
Yes.
in the culture, it's so we do it now, son of. And they say Bar Jesus, son of Jesus. Actually, he was the one that was bewitching the people. And the people in Samaria thought he was someone great. And they crucified Bar Jesus. I don't know if you know all that part of the tablet.
Yes.
Explain all of these things. But going back to look at the Messiah being the Most High is impossible. Because he himself said, the word I speak is not mine.
Not mine.
It is the Father that strengthened me. And in the book of St. John again, he said, my Father is greater than I.
That's true.
How can you read these things and then say he's the Father? I mean,
Let
I
us
don't understand.
access the mystery of the ages. We know that many of us, pastors, prophets, we want to see the power of God. We want to see the nature arrive. We want to see the glory of God. How can we access much more power to heal the sick, the blind, the crippled, the dumb? How can we access it?
Okay, but you see, again, if we go back and look at the men that were doing this, let's go back to Yeshua then, which they call Jesus. Now, why was he so powerful? What are we doing that our ancestors
there.
were doing
Welcome
back
to
then?
Power
Look
of
at what
God
we're doing now
Ministries
and
International.
compare it to what they were
Power
doing.
of God
Go back in the
Ministries
scriptures and look at how they
International
dress,
introduced you
look
to
at
the
how
grand
they
opening
eat,
of our
look at how they
24-hour
pray,
state-of-the-art
and the
call
Most High
center,
don't change,
just to
and
serve
they
you
don't
better.
change. So who
We
changed?
offer 24
We
hours
humans
international
change, yes.
online and
And when we
offline
change, we
services,
lose power,
such
don't
as
we?
calling,
That's correct.
texting,
Get back to the
making
tribe of Judah was the
appointments,
same
and
thing.
making
Got
donations.
influenced by
You can reach
Nebuchadnezzar's
us via
empire,
WhatsApp,
right? And forgot that the
Facebook,
Most High
and
said
Instagram.
that there are
Please
certain
remember
things that
to
we must
subscribe
do
to
and
our
certain
PGMI
obedience that we must have.
YouTube channel
And
for
when we
weekly
don't have
uploads
those,
and
we
trending
disconnect
videos.
ourselves from that power source.
That's true.
So now we're trying to find other means to attain that power, and we will not attain that power till we come right back to the basis. We cannot see Jesus as the creator, and we cannot be given the creator names that we feel he should have. He has his name before he started created 76 trillion years ago.
It's not common, it's rare upon the earth. How can man so powerful that man could put a little liquid into a oven, and within couple seconds the liquid become a chicken, and the chicken become life and start walk the earth? Where they get that power from? Is it that the power lies in shadows, or somebody hiding something from us?
But where did that power start? That same thing you talk about, genetic engineering and all of this, started in Egypt, don't we? We are the ones that started. It started with us, correct? And
Yes.
again, go back to Egypt again and look why they attained that power. Because remember, the divine ones came down and taught us how to use metal. They taught us also how to do all these things. But let's go back and look again, because Egyptians, our fathers, were known even up until today to be the greatest that ever walked the earth. And let's just look at what they were doing. And then again, remember, when we say the lodge, and we say these things, the lodge in the past was the higher school of learning.
Yes.
There was certain information, how we transform ourselves, the way how we link or we tune our spiritual framework with a physical framework, how we sit down, how we align our ears with our shoulder, line our nose with our navel, and we go into meditation. Now we have that knowledge, but that knowledge is not in the Bible. The Most High didn't put it there. They put it into higher school of learning.
Yes.
Because it's not everybody is equipped or capable or qualified, better yet, to reach that standard. So there's an order we call the Egyptian order. When we get in there, we start to do different things than what we're doing now. Because as I said, nature plays such an important part with the old framework of what you're going to do. Where they're going to use your fingers, are you going to use some beads, or whatever you're going to knock the drum, or at what beat you're going to knock it. We have the power to go around in circles. We can stop the rain. We can make the rain fall. The Most High give us all this power. We are the one that moved away from this power source.
So Chief, we have some powerful, awesome products that we have here. It is coming from straight from the divine mountain. Tell me something about, especially the manpower that the human race really looking for, because most of our men, it's like they're dead in the show, and we want you to bring them back to life, just like Jesus take Lazarus out of the grave.
Well, let me just explain the manpower though. It enhances the sexual organs. This in itself will help the person. If the person is going to have sex, I don't want the person to get the impression that it is spontaneous, but it's something over a period of time that helps to build up the sexual organ. This is the Arawak antibiotic medicine. It is the
Arawak antibiotics. Tell me a little about it.
Well, this one here now is done through solar technology. Of a certain substance that is not actually water substance, but it penetrates the bloodstream very fast and runs through the cells very fast.
So what about it? Get rid of the gallstone, the fibroid tumor, the kidney stones and those stuff?
Yes, it get rid of cysts. People that has, cysts, yes, cyst is one of them. Blocked tube is another one of them. Poor blood circulation is another, and other problems as well, like sinus. People a lot of got stuffy sinus and all of that. Yes. And normally sinus is the irritation of a sinus cavity. This will also help that as well.
What do you have for loss of memory? A lot of persons they can't remember stuff.
Well, normally we introduce a diet that can help that. One of the main things that help memory is celery. Celery,
yes,
it is actually a vegetable that in the diet, and as well as juice, can help the memory a whole lot. Another thing is to consume a vast amount of green leaf vegetables in the diet.
Wow,
that is so important, chlorophyll and everything else. And I want to tell you a little story about that. I had a little shorter memory after my wife passed away, and I realized I was saying things but I could not remember where I was.
Yes.
So I had to go back to the green leaves and start consuming a vast amount of bush cabbage and other greens, and simply start doing that is when I realized it's beginning to come back.
Many persons have eye problem, they have head problem. What do you have for the eye?
We have eye bright as well. It's not here.
You call it the eye bright.
Well, we have a eye bright, yes. And this eye bright, a few drops into water, and you apply it to the eye. It's an eye bright that helps the flesh.
Yes.
The bacterial phlegm that grows on the eye, it helps to get that off as well. A beautiful eye wash. It makes from fennel and fennel seed, fennel plant, and all of this as well.
Thank you very much, Chief, for your mystery products, and God bless you, Jamaica. And if you want to get a touch of our Chief mystery products, you can contact us. Can contact also the call center, and we will ship it to you wherever you are in the world. We can get all of these products to you within a couple of days, or 7 days to 10 days. So please, you can call us. Call us at the call center if you have a fibroid tumor, if you're troubled with eye problem, kidney problem, cancer problem. We can ship the products to you. God bless you, and we love you. God bless you, Jamaica,
and
around the world.